Okay, so this is going to be an update video, scent of the day, and my latest swap, and also how things are going with looking for work. I explored some new business ideas last week. I shared those with you. Now I'm kind of back to looking for employment more traditionally. But what I think I really want is to become like an online entrepreneur, kind of slash academic slash writer slash content producer of some kind. You know, kind of like I was talking about James Clear, who wrote this incredible book, Atomic Habits, that I'm kind of halfway through. I mean, he's not an academic, he's not a researcher, he's just a really good writer. And he wrote a book that I guess he sort of has the ability to bring the message of all this research to the public. And that is a skill in itself. And I think the same as like, there are some other people out there that have kind of found one thing to focus on, like David Epstein talks about generalism. He's written a book called Range, and how like all the pros of being a generalist, and how like the more you specialize in something, the more narrow-minded you get. And it's anyway, I just think it's an interesting phenomenon that these people are not really researchers themselves. They're more like writers. Another example is Gretchen Rubin, who wrote a book called The Happiness Project a few years ago, and now she's become like, she's associated with, she used to be a lawyer, and she just kind of decided she was more of a read and write kind of person. And she wrote a book called The Happiness Project and explored like all different aspects of happiness, what works, what doesn't, and kind of just, you know, looked at what research there was. And now she has like a podcast about happiness. She has like merchandise with happiness messages and everything. She's like, that's kind of her area of expertise now. And she's really kind of a writer. Anyway, I just find that really inspiring. So I don't know. I think I'm kind of shooting in too many different directions now. I feel really kind of like my brain is all scattered. I really don't know where I'm going or what I want. But I think maybe something like that would be interesting. And try to find something a little bit wider, a little more broad than perfumes, because I do really love to talk about perfume, which brings me on to telling you now about my latest swap. This Ember that I talked about last week that I thought was a little bit too masculine, I finally decided I'd had enough. I will never love this fragrance. And I had already swapped decants with this guy in my local community, and we decided to swap these, and I got this incredible fragrance. And this is Terryfic Oud Extreme. I know it only says Terryfic Oud here. It's by Terry Gunzburg. The regular bottle, the regular EDP, that's only the one without extreme, like the non-flanker. The original is in a kind of a more simple bottle. I think the top is more like metal, or like silver colored, and the bottle, I think the bottle is more transparent. It's a little more plain. And this is the X-Stray version. It's X-Stray, and it's called also Extreme. And it's just a beautiful, super easy to wear kind of oud with leather and saffron and rose, I think. It's really, really nice. It's like spicy, but not too spicy. It's a little bit sweet, but not like, it's not at all a gourmand fragrance. It's more, and it's not, you'd think like saffron and rose, maybe it's like oud satin mood. No, but it isn't. It doesn't have vanilla. It's not vanillic like those. And it doesn't, I don't think it has patchouli. Like a lot of those rose oud patchouli kind of fragrances, there's so many of those. It seems like every house has their kind of their take on that. And I think a lot of people in the community, at least here in Sweden, are a little bit bored with that like typical combination. This is nothing like that, even though it has rose. This is more about the oud, I think. It's just soft oud. Someone on Fragrantica said that this smelled synthetic, and I don't agree at all. I can sometimes kind of get that feeling of what might be synthetic, like it smells a little plasticky or something. I don't find this with this one at all. I mean, a lot of people really are praising this fragrance as well, but I just thought that was kind of strange because this one is quite the contrary to me. I think that this is just, it's a really good, I think, beginner's oud. There's nothing skanky about it. It's just like love at first sniff. It's just like a perfect oud. And this oud is kind of like a little subdued. It's not like it's not super, super large fragrance, but it does stay a lot. I mean, I put it on one night. I still had it on the next morning. I usually wash off before I go to bed, but maybe I hadn't done it. Like sometimes I don't wash like my whole arms or anything, but like whatever I put on my wrists, I kind of wash that off because I want my sleep to just be like no stimulants. I darken the room. I make sure that there's no sound. I don't have my phone in the room, etc. So I like to like have it as quiet and dark as possible and no other kind of smells either going on. But I really recommend this fragrance. And I saw that they had this on a special now. I think that's why I convinced this guy to swap it with me, because the special was a little bit lower priced than this Ember. So it was a pretty good swap for him as well, I think, because he had a backup bottle of this. That shows kind of how wonderful he thought it was. So this definitely, it's, I think, not masculine, not feminine. It's like right in the middle. Like anybody could wear this. I'm like also excited about like showing my normal friends this fragrance, because it's something that doesn't really, you won't find this like at your local perfumery. They don't carry things like this, like these kind of ouds. Yeah, I'm really, really happy about it. Okay, that was all for today.